Commander Yuki stared at the massive screen in front of him. The blue lights flickered across his face as numbers scrolled down faster than he could read them. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I called out Lieutenant Kira from her station. Her voice shook slightly. You need to see this. Yuki walked over to her console. Kira had 4 arms like most of her species, and all 4 were working frantically on different controls. Her skin had turned a pale green color, which meant she was scared. What is it? Yuki asked. Ships, sir. Lots of them, coming from the outer edge of the galaxy. Yuki looked at the data. His eyes went wide. This can't be right. Run the scan again. Kira's fingers danced over the controls. The same numbers appeared. 237 vessels, sir. All large. Some are bigger than anything we have on record. The bridge went quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing. In the 50 years since the Galactic Council was formed, no single fleet had ever been this big. The largest council fleet had maybe 60 ships, and most of those were small patrol boats. Where are they coming from? Yuki asked. Kira checked her readings again. The Sol system, sir. Earth. The name sent chills through every alien on the bridge. Earth was what they called a death world. A planet so dangerous that most species couldn't survive there for more than a few minutes. The gravity was 3 times stronger than most worlds. The air was poison to many races. Massive storms could destroy entire cities, and the creatures that lived there were all predators. YUK, I had heard stories about humans. They were tall, strong, and fast. They had forward-facing eyes like hunters. Their teeth were sharp. They could run for hours without stopping. They fought wars with weapons that could destroy planets. Most aliens hoped they would never meet a human. Are you sure it's them? Yuki asked. Yes, sir. The energy signatures match. These are human ships. Officer Tarn stood up from his chair. He was from a peaceful plant-eating species that had never known war, sir. What do we do? Should we call for help? Help from who? Yuki replied. This fleet is bigger than our entire defense force. The communication system beeped. Someone was trying to talk to them. Yuki looked around the bridge. The crew was scared. He was scared too. But they had a job to do. Put it through, he said. The main screen changed. Instead of showing space, it now showed the inside of a human ship. And there, sitting in a captain's chair, was a human. YUK, I had never seen a human before. The creature looked just like the pictures, but somehow more frightening in person. Had pale skin and dark hair. Its eyes were small and focused forward. When it smiled, Yuki could see its sharp white teeth. This Jano, of the Terran diplomatic fleet, the human said. Its voice was deep and calm. We are requesting permission to enter council space. We wish to establish formal relations with the Galactic Council. Diplomatic fleet. The human called it a diplomatic fleet. But Yuki could see part of the human. Ship behind the admiral. There were weapons everywhere. Screens showing targeting systems. Soldiers in armor walking around. This wasn't a peaceful ship. Admiral Jinho Yuki said, trying to keep his voice steady. This is Commander Yuki of the Veltarian Defense Network. Your fleet is ... quite large for a diplomatic mission. The human. Admiral looked confused. Large? This is actually a small fleet by our standards. We brought only what we thought was necessary for safe travel. Safe travel. These humans thought they needed over 200 warships just to travel safely. Kind of enemies did they face in their part of the galaxy? We understand that first contact can be overwhelming, Admiral Jinho continued. We're prepared to wait at the edge of council space while you contact your leaders. We don't want to cause any panic. Too late for that, Yuki thought. Half. His crew looked ready to faint. Lieutenant Kira was now bright green with fear. Admiral, if you don't mind me asking, what are your intentions? Simple, the human replied. We've been watching your broadcasts for several years. We know about the Galactic Council and your mission of peace. Earth would like to join this community. We have much to offer in terms of technology, resources, and protection. Protection. The way the human said that word made Yuki's blood run cold. What could possibly threaten the council that would require human protection? We'll need to contact the council leadership, Yuki said. This decision is far above my authority, of course. We'll maintain position here. Oh, and Commander? Yes, Admiral. Thank you for being so professional. We know our reputation precedes us. We're hoping to change some of those perceptions. The communication ended. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Officer Tarn spoke. First, sir, what do we tell the Council? Yuki looked at the massive fleet on his screen. Each ship was a fortress. Each ship carried enough weapons to destroy his entire station, and they called this a small diplomatic mission. We tell them, Yuki said slowly, that everything is about to change. The Council's great meeting hall had never been so quiet. Ambassador Hannah walked slowly across the smooth crystal floor. Her footsteps echoed in the huge room. Round her, hundreds of aliens sat in their seats, all watching her every move. Hannah had been chosen carefully for this moment. She was smaller than most humans, with a calm voice and gentle manner. The Council leaders thought she would be less frightening than the soldiers they had seen on the ships. They were wrong. Even Hannah, with her diplomatic smile and peaceful words, made the aliens nervous, like a hunter. Her eyes looked straight ahead, never missing anything. When she breathed, they could see her sharp teeth. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Hannah said. Her words were changed into dozens of alien languages by the translation machines. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. Elder Vextar of the Millennian people raised one of his long tentacles. His skin was turning purple with fear. Ambassador Hannah, we welcome you to our assembly, but we must ask, ... why so many ships? Hannah looked confused. Many ships? We only brought a small diplomatic escort. Admiral Jinho felt it was the minimum needed for safe travel. Safe travel. The aliens looked at each other with wide eyes. 200 warships was the minimum for safe travel. What kind of dangerous galaxy did humans live in? Perhaps, said Counselor Zira of the Peleron Republic. You could tell us about these escort ships. What capabilities do they have? Captain Sungmin stepped forward. He was taller than Hannah and wore a military uniform. Several aliens moved back in their seats when they saw him. He looked like every nightmare story they had heard about human warriors. Of course, Sungmin said, pulling out a small device. Each of our destroyer-class ships carries 48 antimatter torpedoes, 12 kinetic bombardment systems, and 6 plasma lance arrays. Our cruisers have about twice that firepower. The hall went completely silent. Elder Vextar's tentacles were shaking. Counselor Zira had turned completely white. In the back rows, some of the smaller aliens were making soft crying sounds. Antimatter. Torpedoes? The Council's most powerful ships carried maybe 2 or 3 of those weapons. The humans had 48 on their smallest ships. And the larger vessels? Asked General Koth of the Zerilian Military Council. His voice cracked as he spoke. Our dreadnoughts? Sunmin checked his device again. They carry about 10 times the firepower of a destroyer, plus shield generators, point defense systems, and fighter squadrons. Standard configuration for deep space operations. Several aliens fainted. Medical teams rushed to help them. The remaining council members sat in shocked silence. The humans' smallest ships could destroy their entire defense fleet, and they called this standard equipment. Ambassador Hannah noticed the fear in the room. She had studied alien psychology for months, but seeing it in person was different. These beings had lived in peace for so long that they couldn't understand why anyone would need such weapons. I think there's been a misunderstanding, Hannah said gently. These weapons are purely defensive. We don't use them to attack peaceful worlds. Defensive? Squeaked Counselor Minnie of the Fleep Collective. She was small and furry, like most of her species. Those weapons could destroy star systems. Well, yes, Captain Sungmin admitted, but only if we had to. I hope we never need to use them. This didn't make the aliens feel better. The idea that humans carried planet-killing weapons and hoped they wouldn't need them was terrifying. Elder Vextar tried to calm himself. Ambassador, perhaps you could explain why your people feel the need for such impressive firepower. Hannah thought about how to answer. How could she explain that Earth was surrounded by hostile alien empires? That humans had fought 3 major wars just to survive? that every human ship was built to fight because the alternative was extinction. Our region of space is not as peaceful as yours, she said carefully. We've encountered species that don't believe in diplomacy. Sometimes the only way to protect innocent people is to be stronger than those who would hurt them. The aliens looked confused. They lived in a galaxy where wars were rare and small. Their biggest conflicts were about trade routes or mining rights. The idea of fighting for survival was completely foreign to them. But surely, said Counselor Zira, reasonable beings can always find peaceful solutions. Captain Sung-min and Ambassador Hannah exchanged glances. They both remembered the Cleath invasion, when an entire alien race tried to eat humanity. They remembered the Void Lords, who turned whole planets into slave farms. There had been no reasoning with enemies like that. We certainly hope so, Hannah said diplomatically. That's why we're here. We want to join a community that values peace. Nice. About your military? Asked General Koth. Will you bring your fleets into Council space? Only if invited, Hannah replied. It only to help protect Council worlds from external threats. The aliens didn't know whether to feel relieved or more. Scared the humans were offering protection? But from what? What could possibly threaten the Council that would require human weapons? Elder Vextar spoke for everyone when he said, I think we need time to discuss this among ourselves. Ambassador Hannah nodded. Of course, we'll wait for your decision. The humans left the hall. The aliens sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about the galaxy had just changed. The emergency signal came through on all frequencies at once. Captain Myra was the first to hear it on her Council patrol ship. Her tentacles moved quickly over the controls. As the message played, this is the Shay Prime calling any Council ships. We are under attack. Pirates have destroyed our defense platforms. They're landing troops on the surface. Please help us. Myra's ship was small and fast, built for patrol duty, not fighting. But she was the closest Council vessel to the Shay Prime. She had to try. Set course for the Shay system, maximum speed. She ordered her crew at the same time. Admiral June heard the same message on his human flagship. He was sitting in his command chair, reading reports about the ongoing diplomatic talks. The distress call changed everything. Admiral, said Commander Yoon from the communications station. We're receiving a distress signal from a Council world. They're under attack by pirates. June stood up immediately. How far away are we? 6 hours at full speed, sir. And the Council Defense Forces? There's one patrol ship en route, but it won't be enough. The pirates have at least 12 ships, including heavy cruisers. June made his decision quickly, signaled the Council command. Request permission to assist, sir, said Captain Hojin from the weapons station. Should we prepare the fleet for combat? Just the strike group? 5 destroyers should be enough? On her ship, Captain Myra was pushing her engines to the limit, but she knew she would be too late. Her patrol vessel had good sensors and fast engines, but almost no weapons. She could help evacuate civilians, but she couldn't fight 12 pirate ships. The Council Command received Admiral June's request and sent it immediately to the Emergency Council. The alien leaders had to decide quickly. Let humans bring weapons into Council space, or watch the Shah Prime burn. We have no choice, said Elder Vextar. Give them permission. The message reached Admiral June within minutes. Permission granted. Please assist the Cha Prime. What happened next would be talked about in alien military schools for the next 100 years. The human strike group jumped directly into the Thesha system. 5 sleek destroyers appeared in perfect formation, their weapons already charging. Captain Myra, who had just arrived herself, watched in amazement. The pirates had been expecting maybe 1 or 2 Council patrol ships. Instead, they found themselves facing human warships. Unknown vessels, came the pirate leader's transmission. This is our prize. Leave now, or we'll destroy you. Admiral June answered calmly. This is Admiral June of the Terran Navy. You are attacking a world under Council protection. Surrender immediately, or we will stop you. The pirate leader laughed. 5 ships against 12? You humans are as stupid as they say. Begin attack pattern, Delta, Admiral June ordered. What followed was not a battle, It was a lesson in human military tactics. The human ships moved like dancers, flowing around the pirate formations with impossible grace. Their weapons fired with perfect accuracy. While the pirates shot wildly, hoping to hit something, the humans targeted specific systems on each ship. Captain Mira watched through her sensors as the first pirate ship lost its engines. Then, its weapons. Then its life support started failing. But the human ships didn't destroy it. They disabled it completely, leaving the crew alive but helpless. The same thing happened to the second ship, then the third. The pirates tried to run, but the human ships were faster. Tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't even hit the dancing human vessels. In less than 2 hours, all 12 pirate ships were floating dead in space. Not one had been destroyed. Not one pirate had been killed. But every ship was completely disabled. Desha Prime, this is Admiral June, came the transmission. The pirate fleet has been neutralized. We're sending down rescue teams to help with evacuation. Captain Mira couldn't believe what she was seeing. Human soldiers were landing on the Sia Prime, but they weren't there to conquer. They were rescuing civilians. They carried wounded aliens to safety with the same care they would show their own people. The human ships used their tractor beams to collect the disabled pirate vessels. The pirates themselves were taken prisoner, but treated well. No torture, no executions, just professional military detention. Captain Myra, Admiral June, called her ship. Thank you for responding so quickly. Your courage in coming here alone was impressive. Mira felt embarrassed. I couldn't have done anything against 12 ships. You could have evacuated civilians. That takes courage, too. Within 6 hours, the ship Prime was safe. Pirates were in custody. The civilians were being treated for their injuries. And Captain Myra was sending her report back to Council Command. The humans, she reported, fought with precision. I've never seen. They could have destroyed the pirate fleet in minutes. Instead, they chose to capture everyone alive. They could have conquered the ship Prime easily. Instead, they spent hours rescuing our people. When the report reached the council chambers, the alien leaders sat in stunned silence. They had been afraid of human weapons. Now they understood something more frightening: human restraint. These beings could have destroyed the pirates completely. They could have claimed Desha Prime as their own. They had the power to do whatever they wanted. Instead, they chose to protect the innocent and spare their enemies. Elder Vexstar spoke for everyone. What kind of people have such terrible power, but choose to use it so carefully? The answer would change how the galaxy thought about humans forever. Dr. Kyung-soo watched the playground with careful eyes. This was the first mixed group of human and alien children ever brought together. The council had agreed to a small cultural exchange program, but nobody knew what would happen. 10-year-old Taehin was running around the playground, chasing his new friend Pip. Pip was a young Zorlian with soft blue fur and big round eyes. 2 human eyes. It looked like 2 children playing a simple game of tag. 2 Pip's parents were watching from the observation deck. It looked like their child was being hunted by a predator. He's chasing our son, whispered Pip's mother, her fur standing on end with fear. Why is the human child hunting him? Dr. Kung-soo tried to explain. It's called tag. It's how human children learn to work together and stay healthy. Taehyun isn't trying to hurt Pip. He's playing. But the Zorilian parents didn't understand. In their culture, being chased meant danger. Running meant you were trying to escape from something that wanted to eat you. The idea that children would do this for fun made no sense. On the playground, Taehyun caught up to Pip and gently touched his shoulder. Tag, you're it, he said with a big smile. Pip squeaked with delight and started chasing Taehyun. The human boy ran, but not too fast. He wanted his friend to catch him. This confused the adult aliens even more. Now, the prey is running from the hunter, said Pip's father. But slowly. Why doesn't the human child run faster? Because he wants Pip to catch him, Dr. Kung-soo explained. That's how the game works. They take turns being it. The concept was completely foreign to the peaceful aliens. They had never played games that involved chasing or catching. Their children played quiet games like singing or building things with soft materials. Meanwhile, in the cultural center's art gallery, other problems were developing. Ambassador Hannah was giving a tour to several alien diplomats. They stopped in front of a painting that humans considered beautiful and inspiring. The painting showed a human soldier carrying a wounded comrade through a battlefield. Smoke and fire filled the background. The soldier's face showed determination and pain, but also love for his friend. Counselor Zira of the Peleron Republic stared at the painting with wide eyes. Her skin had turned completely white with shock. "This depicts violence," she whispered. "It depicts sacrifice," Hannah corrected gently. "The soldier is risking his life to save his friend. We consider this one of the most noble things a person can do," but the aliens couldn't see nobility in the painting. All they saw was war and death. The Peleron people had never fought a war. They didn't understand why anyone would risk their life for another person. In their culture, the logical thing to do was to run away and save yourself. "Why would someone do this?" asked Counselor Minnie of the Fleet Collective. "Why not just leave the wounded person and escape?" "Because we don't leave our people behind," Hannah said. "Ever." The aliens looked confused and frightened. The concept of loyalty unto death was completely alien to them. But not all the integration challenges were bad. In the technical center, Chief Engineer Dahl was having a very different experience. He was a Veltarian, a species known for their engineering skills. He had been nervous about working with humans, but that was changing quickly. "Show me the design again," Dahl said to Engineer Min-Ho. Min-Ho pulled up the plans for a new type of shield generator. "We developed this for our colony ships. It can protect against radiation, meteor impacts, and hostile weapons." Dahl studied the design with growing excitement. Human engineering was different from anything he had seen before. Where alien technology focused on efficiency and elegance, human technology focused on survival and durability. "This is incredible," Dahl said. "Our shield generators can stop small meteors, but this could stop a direct hit from a battle cruiser. We had to make them strong," Min-Ho explained. "Our colony ships travel through dangerous space. They need to survive anything." Dahl began to understand. Humans didn't build pretty machines. They built machines that worked under the worst possible conditions. This was technology born from necessity, not comfort. "Could we modify this design for our trading ships?" Dahl asked. "The pirate attacks have been getting worse, of course. We'd be happy to help." This was happening all over the exchange program. Alien engineers were learning that human safety equipment was far better than anything they had. Human medical techniques could save lives that alien doctors had given up on. Human agricultural methods could grow food in places where aliens thought it was impossible. But the cultural differences remained difficult. At dinner time, the problems got worse. Young Taehan sat at the table with his alien friends. He was eating what humans considered a normal meal: cooked meat, vegetables, and bread. To his alien friends, he might as well have been eating poison. "How can you eat that?" asked Pip, pointing at the meat on Taehoin's plate. "It tastes good," Taehoin said, taking another bite. "Want to try some?" Every alien at the table backed away. The idea of eating dead animals was horrifying to them. They were all plant eaters who got sick at the smell of cooked meat. Dr. Kyung-soo watched all of this and took notes. The integration program was working, but slowly. The aliens were learning that humans weren't monsters. They were learning that human technology could help them, but they were also learning that humans were very, very different from them. The question was, could two such different types of beings ever truly understand each other? Time would tell. 6 months had passed since the human fleet first arrived at the edge of Council space. Admiral June stood at the large window of the new joint station, orbiting Nexus Prime. The view before him would have been impossible to imagine when he first met the aliens. Human and alien ships flew together in perfect formation. Council patrol vessels moved alongside human destroyers. Alien cargo ships traveled under the protection of human escorts. The galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. "Admiral," said Ambassador Hannah as she walked up beside him. "The morning reports are ready." June took the data pad from her. The numbers told an amazing story. Pirate attacks on trade routes had dropped by 90%. Not because the humans had destroyed all the pirate fleets, but because the pirates were afraid to attack ships that might have human protection. The Melonian Collective is requesting human advisors for their defense planning, Hannah continued. And the Veltarians want to establish a joint training academy. June smiled. The same aliens who had been terrified of human weapons 6 months ago were now asking to learn from human military tactics, not because they wanted to conquer anyone, but because they wanted to protect themselves. Through the window, he could see alien cadets training on human ships. They moved slowly and carefully, still afraid of the powerful weapons around them. But they were learning. More importantly, they were starting to understand why humans built such weapons. Any word from the outer colonies? June asked. More systems have requested human patrol routes, Hannah replied. The Fleet Collective wants to hire human security teams for their mining operations. This was the most surprising change. The small, peaceful aliens who had been most afraid of humans were now the ones who wanted human protection the most. They had realized that having humans as friends was much better than having humans as enemies. Captain. Sugman's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, we have a situation developing in the Kepler sector. Large, unidentified fleet has been detected moving toward Council space. June and Hannah hurried to the command center. The main screen showed a tactical display of the galaxy. Red dots marked the position of the unknown fleet. There were over 100 ships, all moving in military formation. Do we know who they are? June asked. Negative, sir. They're not responding to our communications. But their ship designs match reports from the far rim. These might be the devourers that the refugees warned us about. June felt a chill run down his spine. The devourers were one of the hostile alien races that humans had fought in the past. They didn't negotiate or trade. They simply consumed everything in their path. If they had found the Council worlds, it would be a disaster. How long until they reach Council space? 18 hours, sir. Elder Vexstar appeared on the communications screen. His tentacles were shaking with fear. Admiral June, our sensors have detected the approaching fleet. Our defense forces are no match for so many ships. What do we do? 6 months ago, June would have had to ask permission to bring human military forces into Council space. Now things were different. We stopped them, June said simply. That's what we're here for. The next few hours were a masterclass in the new relationship between humans and aliens. Council ships provided intelligence and support, while human warships prepared for battle. Alien engineers worked alongside human technicians to modify weapons and shields. Captain Myra, the Zorelian officer who had witnessed the first human military action at Thesha Prime, was now serving as a liaison on June's flagship. She watched the preparations with amazement. Your people are so calm, she said to Commander Yoon. Aren't you afraid? Of course we're afraid, Yoon replied. But fear makes us more careful, not less capable. We've faced the Devourers before. We know how to fight them. When the battle began, it was nothing like the careful surgical strikes the humans had used against pirates. The Devourers were a real military threat, armed with powerful weapons and advanced shields. The humans had to use their full strength. The alien council members watched from their safe stations as human ships engaged the enemy fleet. This time, there was no holding back. Human weapons fired at full power. Antimatter torpedoes lit up the darkness of space. Kinetic bombardment systems struck with the force of small meteors. But even in full combat, the humans showed their true nature. When Devourer ships were disabled, human rescue teams moved in to save the surviving crew members. When the enemy tried to retreat, the humans let them go instead of pursuing and destroying them. In 4 hours, the threat was over. The Devourer fleet was scattered, their ships either destroyed or fleeing back to the rim of the galaxy. Elder Vexstar contacted Admiral June immediately after the battle. Admiral, on behalf of the entire council, I want to thank you. You have saved us all. That's what allies do, June replied. We protect each other. That word, allies, marked the real change in the galaxy. The humans weren't conquerors or overlords. They were friends who happened to be very good at fighting. Later, as Admiral June looked out at the stars, he thought about how much had changed. The aliens had learned that strength wasn't always about violence. Sometimes the willingness to fight was what made peace possible, and the humans had learned something too. For the first time in their history, they weren't fighting for survival. They were fighting to protect others. The galaxy was no longer the same place it had been 6 months ago. It was safer, stronger, and more united than ever before. The age of the Deathworld protectors had begun.